We have 5 months left in 2017, and our discussion this week, as a result, is on the top 5 most anticipated games to end 2017. There are a lot of games coming out, a lot of games, and we're going to go around the table and talk about our top 5, starting
How do
with
we even
number
pick
5.
top 5? We need like top 20.
I know there's a
It's
lot.
just so many.
There's a lot, but that's okay. We're limiting it to 5.
We did narrow it down to 5.
We did narrow it down to 5.
Impressively.
Otherwise, everyone would have had a top 20.
I know. Basically, we basically would have.
Which is all games coming out in the fall.
My top 30 games for the rest of the year.
Which is
That's like all the games.
That pretty much is all the games.
Well, at least all the games that are worth playing,
Right.
like all the 8s and stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So let's start with number 5, and we're gonna go with Devin first. Devin, what is your number 5 most anticipated game
Number 5 is
for the rest of 2017?
Divinity Original Sin 2.
Hey.
My first run with Divinity Original Sin, I got to play with a buddy of mine, and this to me is the absolute best translation of everything D&D fantasy role-playing style.
Yeah.
With all the intricacies of your character building, the free world, running around doing everything that you want to do in real time and on your own schedule, as well as all the rules and the combat mechanics. This is the perfect translation of D&D into a computer game. So I loved it, and when I heard that there was another one literally just a couple of months away, I was like, well, this is fucking perfect. Now I've just got to find some people who want to play with me.
So you're playing the first one right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
It's hard as hell. It does not hold your hand.
really.
Oh,
Yeah, I
not
was
at
going to
all.
get it until you're like, this is really tech heavy. And I was like, you know what?
Oh, it's super tech heavy.
I don't need to play this.
I sat
Not a
there.
fan.
Well, it's like when I realized my first battle that I had was in the rain, and I kept trying to cast an oil spell on people, and I was like, why can I not set them on fire? The rain was washing away the oil, so I was like, wow, this is really really environmentally lots of things to take into consideration.
This game sucks.
Oh man.
That's true. That's a lot to take in. But that one is good because I think you might be one of the few people that has that on their list for 2017. So
I
that's
am.
pretty awesome. Austin, what is your number 5?
It's actually Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, which I'm very excited that it's coming out, and that begins fall 2017 for me, and it's going to be ridiculous.
So why are you excited about this game?
Just mostly for the cinematic aspect of it. Like, it looks really freaking good. The story looks really, really interesting. And I don't know if you guys watched the cinematic
No, I
that
haven't
they had,
actually.
the launch cinematic.
Yeah.
It's this really trippy game where this woman has this mental disorder where she's literally going insane. I don't think that's the right term for it, but there it is. And she goes and fights these dudes.
Yeah.
Vikings all around. I mean, who doesn't want that?
Man.
Who doesn't love fighting Vikings?
This game really took me by surprise when they revealed it on the Game Informer cover story because I didn't hear anything about it until they had that in there. And I was like, why is this a cover story? I don't know anything about this. And then as I read into it more and found out it was from the Devil May Cry guys and things like that, I was like, okay, this is a lot more legs than I was judging a book by its cover, and I should not have done that.
Right.
So
How dare you?
I know. It's pretty bad.
I mean, if you watch what IGN covered, like this game is, I mean, they're using sound as a huge gameplay element
Right.
that we don't get. I think that's becoming more of a trend now, but it's still like in the very early stages of.
How do you mean sound is a big game element?
Like, you use sound when you're in the darkness.
Oh,
Like, you
that's-
can't.
Oh, really?
yeah.
You have to use that to walk around and find things and.
So is it like the
because you're kind of in her mind, you know.
okay, like echolocation kind of stuff, or is
Kind
it
of.
not that way?
Like Echo the Dolphin, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna use it as echolocation.
Yeah.
But I think there's some more gameplay elements in that too.
Well, like we
So-
said, that game's coming out on the 8th, so that's
I know.
like right around the corner.
It's literally
It-
you're
it
gonna
has
get
been
you're gonna get
coming
to play your
soon.
number 5 very soon.
Louise, what is your number 5 game for 2017?
I have no shame. Mario plus Rabbids is my number 5 because
Nice.
strategy is amazing and Mario's amazing, and I guess Rabbids are okay. I don't really. Rayman is amazing. In fact, if you haven't already played, I think it's Rayman Legends or the one that's coming to Switch as a definitive edition. You need to play that. That's probably the best platformer of the last 5 years, inclusive of Ori and all of those other games. It is an absolute masterpiece. That said, Mario plus Rabbids, man. It's a Switch game with some cool strategy elements, and I think it's just a really interesting mix of things coming at a very interesting time for Nintendo and also for Ubisoft, seeing as though the Switch is brand spanking new.
I think so too. I mean, I didn't realize when they announced this that this was a Switch exclusive, and
I didn't either, actually.
To me, that's really cool that they got this title. It's Ubisoft's. Well, it's going to be Ubisoft's first foray into the Switch platform, and for being a new IP, that's pretty cool. I'm pumped. I'm really excited about that game.
Yeah, I fully expect this game to sell at least 1 million units because, well, one, I'm going to buy it, so that's indicative of 1 million. So the next 2 million or the next 1 million will be little kids and a bunch of Nintendo fanboys who just love anything with Mario on the name. So I'm kind of excited. I don't know the extent of like multiplayer or something, but if you could do local multiplayer, split screen, or on the same screen where you're just kind of strategizing across, that would be pretty freaking cool.
I bet you could. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, with what Switch has been doing, almost every game they brought out has had some kind of multiplayer component to it, whether it be local multiplayer or online multiplayer. If they did that with this would just seal the deal for me.
It'd be really cool. I can already imagine putting 2 Switches back to back on like stand mode and playing Battleship style where one side is going and the other side's going and you can't see them, so you're just kind of like poker facing it and hoping no one catches on.
That would be cool.
That's a good idea.
There's supposed to be like 200 or something weapons in the game too, so I think there's going to be a lot of variety and a lot of potential for possibly DLC-ish content, so I'm super pumped. In fact, that might be the next game I get if it's not Splatoon 2 here in a couple of weeks.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, my number 5 game is Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. That is my bottom of the list, but considering there's 20,000 other games coming out, this is very high up on that list. And I love the last Wolfenstein. Machine Games did I think they're Machine Games. They did a great job with the reboot of Wolfenstein. I had a blast playing that game and seeing this, like what they've done with this, if the Nazis won and what that life would be like in this scenario. Like they showed that little piece of your character walking into that diner and the Nazi guy comes in, orders a shake and is like, "Do you have your papers?" And that weird,
typical like American
moment.
Setting, right?
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of kind of a Fallout experience.
Yes,
except with Nazis.
Yes,
and
not a wasteland.
And then I was watching gameplay of the actual gameplay of when you're in the wheelchair and you're going through and like shooting at people and stuff like that. And that's really interesting to me. I think that concept is really cool. And there's parts where you like fall off the wheelchair and you're like sliding down this ramp and you're like shooting at Nazis as you're going down the hill. Like. Game looks great. The characters look great. The gameplay looks great. I think it's gonna be a good game.
It's just another great script by these guys.
Yeah.
So I'm
very,
excited.
very well done. So Devin, back to you. What is your number 4?
Number 4 is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Duh.
Oh yeah.
Duh. I've been waiting for this one for a while, and we've talked about it extensively. It seems like we're getting the game that we wanted with the first Battlefront. So now we're getting a story which seems to really be hitting all the right points as far as what a good Star Wars story is supposed to be.
Right.
We've got a good cast list. We've got amazing new multiplayer stuff, as including the map of the Battle of Theed from Episode 1.
Right.
So
they could actually make that.
We could actually make the prequels like a little cool.
Yeah.
Right. So this game just seems like it's going to have all the right elements of what I'm going to want to see from, Star Wars and the Battlefront series. So This is definitely highly anticipated.
Very cool. Very cool. Austin, what is your number 4 game?
Number 4 is Battle Chasers Night War, and this is coming to the Switch. What I'm really, really excited about. It's actually from developers out of Austin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Austin's building up a gaming thing. I mean, we have the Arcane Studios down there, and then that game I reviewed last week, Avon Colonies, from down there. This game's from down there. Like they're doing it up. I think Overcooked's from down there too. Ghost Town Games,
really?
I believe. I could be mistaken on that, but I
think that's correct.
I think they're here. Yeah. So that's a lot.
It's coming October 3rd to Steam, which I just now realized. I've just been focused on the Switch so much I didn't even know. But yeah, it's kind of like a, I guess, Final Fantasy type gameplay style where there's three, you have your characters, there's three of them, and then you have the other side enemies. And once you get to that battle point, things take turns and attack each other. And I really like the art style. It's kind of anime-esque in a way, and that always really gets me going, as people know more here recently.
Whoa.
Austin. Whoa.
Who are you?
Anime gets me going too, man. It's all right.
I'm telling you.
No shame.
So they got some really cool art style, really cool backgrounds, environments, and music, and it just looks like a game for me. And this is the games that I really haven't played before in the past, so I'm really excited to kind of dive into that now with a much more refined and robust system I can take with me anywhere.
Did you say robust?
Yeah.
That's
Robust,
awesome.
he did.
That's awesome.
It's a new word.
It's a new word.
It's a mix
It
of
works.
robust and musk.
It does look
It's
really
a
cool.
robust musk,
Elon Musk.
It's like, there you go.
I when I first heard about this game, I didn't realize that this is what it was. I don't know. In my head, when I kept hearing, I haven't looked up this game, to be honest, since we've talked about it. Yeah, I have
Okay.
have it on my screen here. I thought it was like a space combat game, and I'm looking. I'm like, nope, that's not space combat
So
at all.
this is actually was a comic, and the guy
That's cool.
decided to make it a game, and I'm very happy he did. It was on Kickstarter. I don't know how much it got, but it succeeded its goal by a lot. And I don't know. This game is probably gonna be like Hyper Light Drifter, but like 3D.
Sounds interesting.
Not the same gameplay, but
Right.
it just has that kind of feel to me. Yeah.
All right, Louise,
Sounds good.
number 4.
Shadow of War. I really, really enjoyed Shadow of Mordor. It's actually one of the few games in my lifetime that I've 100%ed.
Wow.
And it was more a consequence of I had only played one of the Arkham games, so I was really looking forward to jumping into something with such a tight combat system.
Nice.
And a lot of my reservations about the first game, Austin, I think this was one of your biggest things when playing it, was that the environments were really bland because we were in Mordor and
Yeah.
there wasn't really any color anywhere. It was just all black and gray. And
Varying
with
shades
the
of
exception
brown.
Fire.
Yeah.
Exactly. And brown's a good color, but not when it's the only color. and I'm excited because Shadow of War looks like it's going to build upon all of the things that made the first one great. It's going to make it look a little bit better, and it'll bring home that aspect of it that was so lacking, which was these environments. And I like the prospect of building upon the Nemesis system and having you actually control armies of Uruks. I think that's freaking fantastic. And I'm just excited to have another super polished, super smooth gameplay experience with this. And Talion is a great character, and I think it's not Nolan North. Troy Baker voices Talion,
Oh, yeah.
so he'll be
Oh,
making an
nice.
appearance. And
He's so good.
I've always
So good.
Yeah, he's so stupid good. So I'm excited to jump more into that stuff. I don't see it on anyone's list. I guess no one really saw.
It was
eye to eye with
hard.
it,
I
so much.
liked
hard.
I liked the first one. I kind of fell into the trap of it was kind of, as we mentioned, the environment was a little too bland for me. I was
Mhm.
I was so much just ready for something else besides the varying shades of brown. And
Uh-huh.
then the Nemesis system to me was a little frustrating just because I kept wanting to take out the guy who was really hating on me, but I didn't realize about all the leveling and how you needed to really
Oh man.
it was a frustrating system for me at first, so I skipped it.
Yeah. And I didn't play
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't play much of it. I wasn't huge into it, but I have bought it again. I'm going to try it again, but
Yeah.
because I
I
know
need to
how
finish it.
amazing it was
Yeah, I
from
need to
everybody
finish
I've
it.
talked to, and the Nemesis system is apparently, kind of revolutionary. And it'll
Right.
be interesting to see if we have more other games that are starting to take that on as we move forward.
Yeah, it really is. It's a really tight game, and it can get pretty technical. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a massive tree of abilities and a bunch of different things you can chain together. So there is a little bit of leeway in that. So you have the potential to kind of take it at your own pace. But by the end of the game, I was hitting constantly like 50, 60 combos where I would not get hit
Jeez.
by another person. So if you get to that point, it
Nice.
feels like you're unstoppable. So you just jump into like a base of, I don't know, 100 orcs, and you come out the other end not having taken a scratch.
Wow.
Or not even gotten a scratch. It's awesome. But yeah, that's my number 4.
Cool.
Sure. Haha. See what I did there?
That's good.
Boo.
That's punny. It's punny.
Boo.
So my number 4 is a game that has had hit and misses for me, or a franchise that has had hit and misses for me, but Assassin's Creed Origins. I am very intrigued. I've been an Assassin's Creed fan since the beginning, but there
I
have been
don't
some games
know.
that I didn't like. And this one has captured my attention in the world that they've built, the additional RPG elements that they've implemented into the system that you've never seen in an Assassin's Creed franchise. And I like that, assuming they do it right.
Assuming they do it
Assuming
right.
they do it right. And
No
I see
offense
a
to them,
lot
but
of,
that's a big if.
yeah. I mean, they're capable of these things. I mean, they're Ubisoft. They have a lot of content that they've brought out over the years and things that they have attempted and tried in the past. And I like the UI has the resemblances of Destiny's UI, so that makes management a lot easier. And I felt as if the skill trees and things like that were reminiscent of Horizon Zero Dawn. And that's interesting to me. And then they have boss battles, which pulls from these much more challenging games, and they've never had boss battles before. I mean, you chase after a guy in the old games, and you run him down until you stab him in the chest, and then that's the boss battle. And now they actually have boss battles. So I'm interested to see how all these new elements that they fuse into this game actually impact the final game. And the world is supposed to be, I mean, it's the size of a country. That's what
Right.
they've said. It's the size of a country, which is pretty wild. So
Well, I
that's my
played
number
at
4.
E3 and
Cool.
it's okay.
Cool. Well,
My biggest reservation about Assassin's Creed is, Brett, you talked already about all the different things it's going to try
Right.
for the first time. I'm scared that they're going to kind of miss the cue on them and kind of introduce a bunch of half-baked ideas versus a lot of
Very
kind of
possible.
harmonious, larger ideas. But it looks pretty, and it will probably play just like Shadow of War, so I'll give it a shot for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if I took away
good
anything,
number
was
4.
the world does look different and phenomenal, and I'd like to explore it.
yeah.
But I don't know what the story and the gameplay will keep me in.
Well, they said like for the climbing stuff, like the climbing in this game is akin to Zelda, where you can climb everything, which this
I
is
didn't
the
know that.
first for
They
Assassin's
didn't tell me
Creed.
that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just remembered that part. But you can climb mountains and you can climb pyramids and stuff, and there's not just you have to grip onto these things. Supposedly, that's what they're saying is the climbing is a lot more free
Right.
in the game. So we'll see if that changes the game any at all. But anyway, on to our number 3 series. Devin, what's your number 3?
Number 3 is Super Mario Odyssey.
Heck yeah.
We all know the hype is there. We all know that that this is the right game for a lot of people. It's another Switch title that's going to just rock the Nintendo world already. So, this is a given. This is just a given, in my opinion. We don't have to discuss anymore what's great about it. We all know what's great about it. This is just one of those solidified in stone titles that I'm going to get.
Right. It's funny. This podcast this year, from March onward, has become more and more like we're about Switch. This is a Switch podcast.
We used to be
Which we're not trying to be, but that's
we
what
used to
it's-
be so Sony centered
Yeah.
and be so on board with what PlayStation was offering.
Right.
And we would, some of us enjoyed our Xbox Ones, whatever. I'm probably the only one in that camp. But that being said, like now it's the Nintendo Switch has just forced itself into the community and has made such a presence that these games are just gonna knock it out of the park, man.
Right.
Thank you.
And Odyssey looks so
Thank you,
good.
Nintendo.
I'm super excited about
Yeah.
Odyssey. It's
Yeah.
gonna be good. That's a good number 3 for sure. Austin, you're number 3. Tell us.
Wolfenstein, New Colossus.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
It's-
yeah.
Yes, Queen.
I mean, I still remember that summer where Brett, you were telling me to play.
Wolfenstein.
Which one was it?
New Order.
The New
The Order. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll jump into it. And you kept saying, oh, it's so cool. It plays an older shooter, but it's still really good. And I didn't believe you. But man, that first cutscene, we're just battling, flying in with the plane, and it crashes. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is intense and it's amazing.
Yeah, there's a million things
And-
happening on screen.
I mean, I was in it the whole way, and there are a few games I can say the whole way I was just in this game. Like it had me at every turn and bad guy, and so I'm excited for this one.
Nice.
Yeah, Wolfenstein is just gripping all around, and if you haven't played Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which came out in 2001,
Yeah.
you should give that one a shot too, because a lot of what the New Order and what the Old Blood and soon to be the New Colossus kind of drew from was that original Return to Castle Wolfenstein. And you can get it on Steam for like $2 or something like that. I have no idea, but I recently beat it again. It is very, very good. And if you want something to kind of, I mean, it's very old school, so you're gonna have to bear with that. But if you enjoy older shooters, it still plays really tight. It aged pretty well, in my opinion. You should play that one too, because that one is probably going to be pulled from quite a bit.
That's
There's
awesome.
A lot of continuity in these.
Yeah. Cool. So that's Austin's number 3. Louise, what is your number 3?
Well, it really, really stinks because apparently the new season of South Park got delayed. But I'm still super, super stoked for South Park: The Fractured But Whole. Has anybody played the first one? I don't know if all three of you all played it.
Yes, I think.
Played Stick of Truth?
I got halfway through it.
Blasphemy.
That's not good, man. It gets way better at the end.
See,
I can understand
I
it
had a
because
lull.
it's a very shallow game.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
I think something else
And
came
that-
out at the time. I just got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Point is, it's kind of like how people were saying, man, if only we could bring Pixar movies into video games verbatim, that would be amazing. We're at that point now. And last generation, we were at the point to bring South Park 1-to-1 into the console generation. I'm most excited about this because it's taking as opposed to the Lord of the Rings route, it's taking the superhero route. And I'm super excited for them to sort of infuse that with a Fire Emblem type turn-based strategy aspect to it. I like that new birth of gameplay as opposed to just turn-based kind of, click 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 Final Fantasy type deal. So it's South Park. I really don't know what else to say on that front. And if you like South Park, you will enjoy these games. Trey and Matt have come out and said that they put as much time and love into these games as they do their own episodes. So you can expect a full 10-hour South Park episode or movie, if you'll call it that.
Yeah.
Out of this game, which is awesome.
Or you can be a stripper and play a lap dance
too.
mini game.
There's going to be a lot more of that, man. The first
yeah.
one, oh my God, I'll never forget when you fight the gnomes on, I don't know whose parents' bed it is.
Yeah.
And there's stuff swinging in the background and you're
that
like,
was
what's going
Stan.
on? I think that actually might be it.
Who's Randy's dad? Or who's Randy's son?
Stan.
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 Yeah, that was
Stan.
Stan's parents. Because I think it was Randy.
Randy Marsh.
Stan
Yeah.
Darsh.
Stan
good.
George.
It's such a good...
Oh, man, it's good stuff. All right, so.
You're going to have a bad time. Not with this game, though. That's my number 3.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Whoa, Brett, what's your number 3? Whoa, Brett, let me tell you what number 3 is.
Don't do that. Do not be that fucking guy.
I had to do it.
God.
Didn't have to.
I'm so
chose
clever.
This is how friendships end.
Yes.
When Brett does shit like this.
Oh, man.
You're teetering, buddy.
My number
You're
3
teetering.
is going to surprise people potentially, but it's Call of Duty World War II.
I believe it.
After having played 40 minutes of this game almost at E3, I may actually be excited about a Call of Duty again. Well, clearly I am excited because it's my number 3. But I cannot wait to play this game. I liked what Sledgehammer did with Advanced Warfare. It was one of the first Call of Duties in a long time that I enjoyed. And this one is looking to be the same now that they've revealed the zombie mode and how it's dark and gritty. And you have the World War II aspect. I've missed that. I missed that from Call of Duty. I wasn't all about the wall jumping nonsense and all
It
that
was
stuff.
kinda stupid.
So, yeah.
It added a
And-
whole other level of just
Unnecessary.
yes.
Yeah.
People were so good at it. I was just I wouldn't even move. I just died from across the map. They jump up high and then look at me and go. Poof.
I mean,
I was like, well,
when they told
game
me
sucks.
this game is boots on the ground, I was like sold. I mean, they said it like 3,000
Boots on the
times,
ground.
but boots on the ground. I mean, I was sold. So that's my number 3, Call of Duty World War II. I'm pretty excited.
I really, really hope that becomes some sort of an industry term that people use. Like for just a very grounded game.
Right.
You know? It's really boots on the ground. Like, I think Mario Rabbids is really interesting because Mario's never really been a boots on the ground kind of guy, you know? He's always been, in the clouds and, pipes and mushrooms, but he wrote boots on the
Yeah,
ground.
none of
kinda
that.
guy,
None of that
yeah.
hat on the dinosaur stuff. They're going back to boots on the ground.
Yeah.
That's what's happening here.
Dang it.
All right, guys, we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it. It's ours now. All right, let's start a new podcast called Boots on the Ground.
Oh my god!
That's a new blog series. All right,
I
just
like
stay tuned to the
Stay tuned for
IndyGamer.net.
Boots on the Ground series.
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh man,
So number 2, back around to the beginning. Devin, what is your number 2?
Number 2, Destiny 2.
Ironically, it's a number 2.
Lots of twos, lots of number twos.
Uh,
I hope Destiny 2 isn't a number 2. Nope.
Why?
No.
Why are we doing this? What has happened
Isn't
to
a
my
piece of
group
number two.
friends?
Sorry.
We're all,
Sorry.
like I said, friendships end.
Garbage?
And die. They start and end on podcasts.
Destiny 2. I am excited because this has been. We knew all the criticisms from the first Destiny,
Right.
and we've talked about them at length. By the time the game stopped making content, it was good. It took 4 DLCs, and now the community is getting a Destiny that they deserve. Yes, there are still some criticisms with some of the classes, like the hunters still just get shit on, and I feel so bad for them. I'm so sorry, hunter
I always
players
get
out
killed
there.
by
I love
hunters, though.
hunters. Hunters are so great.
They're pole dancers now. Sorry.
Damn.
And Titans always get the love, but I've always played the Warlock. That's always
too.
been my go-to. The new mechanics just look so much fun. The new element of adding ice in there, I think, is great. And then getting a very straightforward, in-depth story is what we've all
Fingers
wanted.
crossed.
I have faith in it, man. I
do
really
too.
do. The fact that through the development of this game, we haven't had by the way, half the staff quit. So and so was fired.
It's not out yet. Give it some time.
Dude, the
I know, I
game's
know.
done.
I know.
That happened
Yeah.
with Destiny 1, so we're past that.
We're
now.
past that. So I feel like we're going to get a solid product this time around because I still had a ton of fun with the first Destiny, and this is going to deliver a solid experience for all people involved, and hopefully we see some new kind of fire team stuff you can do, whether it be 3 people, 4 people, or 17 people. Who knows?
Well, we saw what happened with Halo and how once Bungie stopped working on Halo, how that went from like way up here
Yeah.
down to like way down here.
Yeah.
So we know Bungie has it in them. They just need to
Deliver.
Deliver it. And I think the beginning of the first game was all about building up those mechanics, building that, setting everything up, which it sucks it had to be the first game for them to do that. But I'm hoping now, I mean, they've clearly listened to the community a lot based on what they've
Yeah.
said thus far. I just hope when the game does arrive that it's awesome. Austin's a naysayer, but that's okay.
We won't get into that.
That's okay.
I'm Austin. I don't like fun.
Didn't they also bring back some of the writers that left?
Yeah,
during
yes,
the production
yes,
of Destiny.
Yeah, some of the people who were once let go or who left initially have now come back, and they are continuing with the stories that they originally wanted to go with. So we're actually picking up where essentially we were supposed to be left off at, and I that's great in my opinion. And yeah, they may not know what the darkness is. Whatever, I didn't give a shit about that. I wanted to see about the enemies that we were facing there on planet side.
But they are the darkness.
You guys didn't know that yet?
I'm gonna take this Master Chief helmet and I'm gonna beat you to death with it. That's what's gonna happen.
Probably shatter in one blow.
Yeah, don't do that. That'd be bad. Okay, yeah, I'm excited about Destiny 2. It's not on my list, but it's definitely a game that I will be buying and picking up on PC. I hope you get on PC too.
I suppose.
We'll see what happens. Austin, number 2.
Mario
Tell us.
Odyssey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't played a Mario game since 64, and this just looks like a ton of fun. And I played at E3, and it was a ton of fun. So
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of side quests. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of different gameplay elements that switch it up. Get it? Because it's a Switch, so it switches it up.
If we
Right on.
make
That's
that
what I
fucking
do.
joke one more time on this podcast, Jesus,
Devin's head is going to explode.
God.
Somebody asked
So-
me last night, do you ever get tired of switching out the controllers? And I was like, well, it's called a Switch for a reason.
Anyway,
I'm so clever. Oh.
Odyssey just looks like a ton of fun, and I'm ready to jump back into that world of Mario. So
Perfect. Louise, number 2.
Ooh, number 2. A Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Ooh.
A Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. So, I love first-person shooters that are only single-player focused. Those were
Yeah.
the FPSs that I grew up on as a kid. It's why, Brett, I know you have reservations about Call of Duty, mostly because the single player has kind of taken a deep dive,
Right.
which sucks. So I'm hoping that this will reintroduce this first-person single-player focused game back into sort of the limelight, and I hope that people who make first-person shooters will kind of take this as a cue to say, hey, maybe we should just do something single-player focused and not really focus so much on the multiplayer aspect of it. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the New Order was great. Old Blood was great. Wolfenstein has never really not delivered, and I think this is looking like probably the best one they've had in a while. It looks heavy. It's not boots on the ground, I won't say that, but it looks pretty heavy. It looks pretty tight.
It's wheels on
And
the
I'm
ground.
excited.
It's wheels on the ground. Because you're in a
man.
wheelchair.
Yeah,
Not
Wolfenstein
laughing.
is it's up there. It was a close to number one. It's like a 1A, 1B for me, kind of.
Yeah.
But Wolfenstein is so far away, but so close. I just want to play it right now. I'm going to play the New Order again probably pretty soon here after I finish Horizon. I've been saying that for like 8 months now.
Haven't we all? Haven't we all?
One of these days.
Right. So my number 2 is another number 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. We've talked about this numerous times, so I won't go on and on about this, but I'm excited because it looks like it's the Star Wars Battlefront that I've always wanted, and the gameplay looks fun. And
I'm so surprised this is so high on your
pumped.
list. I'm happy.
I'm a DICE fanatic. Like anything that DICE touches is gold to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Battlefield 1, I love Battlefield 4, I love Battlefield 3, I love everything Battlefield has ever done and been a part of, and then now we have Battlefront 2 being made by them, so makes me happy. So that's my number 2. That's all I'm going to say on it. It's pretty awesome. Back around to the beginning. Devin, you're number 1. Let's hear it. The number 1.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Absolutely Wolfenstein. I've
Very nice.
Yeah, I've loved the Wolfenstein series myself. Louise, as you said, there's just something about this first person shooter that is able to deliver so many unique items, be it atmosphere, mechanics, story, narrative, the characters, all of it to me. This from the trailer, I saw something that I have been wanting in a shooter for a long time.
Yeah.
That I haven't had in a long time. And this is where I think we're gonna get a big contender for Game of the Year.
Ooh,
Nice.
wow.
With
Already
Wolfenstein.
putting
That's
it out
good.
there.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm just saying the
Hey.
trailer alone, man.
Good.
Sci-fi
Very good.
zombies, dude. I'm in. I'm in.
I can't wait for our Game of the Year talk. There's so many titles.
Oh man, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really well. I don't know.
It's gonna
it
be
may,
hard.
It may be hard.
Yeah.
It may be hard.
It should be hard, but I don't think it's going to.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I think. I mean, Breath of the Wild is
Yeah.
up there, but
Top 5.
that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking
Top
about
3.
the other games. So, Austin, number 1, tell us what your title is for number
My
1.
number 1 is Battlefront 2.
That surprises me,
Ooh.
actually.
I like a good multiplayer shooter. That's basically I grew up in my teenage years with Halo 2, Battlefield, and Battlefront. Actually, I played that a lot. And,
Yeah.
I'm always looking for a good one, and this actually looks like DICE, a game developer, actually listened to the community and really changed it up. And if you look at all the trailers, those get me pumped. And then you look at the gameplay from E3, like. It is all around a different game.
It's really just such a solid title that they're introducing.
Yeah.
That it feels so different than despite the fact that we've already had the first one.
Right. And then it just didn't have legs. This actually looks like it has legs. And it's taken from all the eras of Star Wars. I mean, what else could you want?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because this has more legs because you have those little walker things you can sit up in that make you walk
I
faster.
knew you were gonna make some stupid joke. I hate you.
I had
so
another
we just put a
joke,
black
but
screen on top of Brett.
Yeah, just
Ferris.
edit
No,
that in.
don't do
Yeah,
that. Don't put a black screen
Move
on.
my picture over his face. That'd be freaking hilarious.
Well, then everything
I'm
I
now
say will
Brett.
be coming
I'm the editor in chief. My first decree.
No
Brett
more
is gone.
fucking puns.
Whoa, hey, I love puns.
I know.
I would. Okay, no more saying no puns. That's the new
No.
decree.
There you go. There you
That's
go.
dumb.
I agree with that.
Anyway.
Awesome. Louise, the big one. You're number 1. Tell us.
Yes, I am the big one. I have gained some weight. You don't have to call that out, man. That's really mean.
Sorry.
Got 'em.
Triggered.
You know,
So Super Mario Odyssey is my number one, and hear me out a little bit. I don't think this is out of the question to be a most anticipated, not even in the slightest. I think we all have it up here somewhere, except for you, Brett, which is weird. You put Assassin's Creed above Mario. Ugh.
I kind of figured
I'm
everybody was going to put Mario on here.
It does look really good, though.
Yeah.
That said, Super Mario Odyssey. Reason why I think it's probably going to be a 1A, 1B for Game of the Year is because the trend in recent times has been a Game of the Year candidate and a Game of the Year winner have always been good games versus good and different games. So you had The Witcher 3 winning it all a few years ago. You had Overwatch. You have all of these games that have elements that are great, and then they have elements that are great and are also accompanied by something completely different. And I think there's nothing like Super Mario Odyssey, and I don't think anyone would have thought that in 2017 a platformer first was going to be in the running for something like this. For me, it's a return to, like Austin was saying, the days of Super Mario 64 and Sunshine, when these kind of hub world Super Marios existed and kind of lived and breathed through those worlds that you would go into. And it's those elements and the fact that Mario is due for another amazing game that kind of put this up there for me. And I mean, I haven't played a platformer since Ratchet and Clank, and that one is pretty straightforward. And I'm just excited for all of the different possibilities with a game like this.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Super Mario I'm really pumped about it. And this was a hard choice to make because there are so many games that are really awesome and exciting that are coming out down the line. But
I'm sure we all had a hard time with our list.
yeah.
They were not easy choices.
So my number one is South Park: The Fractured Butthole. I've been
That
waiting.
looks very interesting.
I've been waiting on this for a very long time, and South Park to me is one of my most beloved TV shows. And in a game form, it's really awesome. And having played it and seeing the depth that they've added to this game from the first one, this is a game. The first one was basically a 10-hour long South Park movie that had some gamey elements to it. This is a game first, and then everything that you love about South
Fan
Park.
service second, game first.
Yes. And to me, like we've talked about Battlefront, we talked about Destiny, what we've even talked about with Call of Duty, and all of these games here they have listened to their fans, they have taken that input, and they've applied it to their next title. And that's what this game is going to be for me. And it's flipping hilarious. And there are things that they put in here that they never even put in TV shows that are just, it's so bad, but so funny and awesome. And I cannot wait for
True
everybody to play
Trey
it.
Parker and Matt Form, tour de form.
Yep.
Yes.
Tour de force.
Yes. So anyway, that's everybody's top 5 most anticipated games for 2017 at the second half of 2017.
Right.
So, everybody, check those out. They're going to be releasing over the next 5 months.
Let us know what
It's
your top
pretty
5 are. maybe.
Yeah, if you guys have a top 5 or you disagree with some of these that we have on there, let us know in the comments and give us a shout, and we might talk about it sometime on the podcast, or we'll respond to you on these social medias because that's what we do. So let us know, give us your feedback, and that concludes our discussion topic this week.
So thanks for watching, or thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for watching, or thanks for listening. So that's going to conclude everything. If you guys have any questions, please let us know at theinnergamer.net. Hello at theinnergamer.net.